Good afternoon. Today we're going to be looking at the simplification of sentences using ing forms. Let's start by looking at reduced relative clauses. So, if the verb in the relative clause is in the continuous aspect, the clause can be shortened by removing the relative pronoun and the be verb. Let's look at an example. There is a girl that is walking her dog. Do we have a continuous aspect verb in the relative clause? Yes. Is walking. It's the present continuous. So I can reduce this. First, I would delete the relative pronoun, that. Then I would delete the be verb, is. And what do I have left? There is a girl walking her dog. And this is a correct sentence. Let's look at another example. I know the woman who was riding the bike. Do I have a continuous aspect in the relative clause? Yes. Was riding. It's past continuous. Okay? So what can I delete? I can start by deleting the relative pronoun, who, and I can delete the be verb, was. So what do I have left? I know the woman riding the bike. This is a correct sentence. Let's move on now. Let's look at reduced clauses. Once again, we're looking at simplifying sentences by using ing forms. So, if two actions occur at the same time, the clauses can be reduced by removing the connectors, the be verbs, and the repeated subjects. Let's look at an example. The boy would drive around while he was listening to music and singing in his head. Of course, I have was listening, it's the past continuous. But more importantly, I have three actions occurring at the same time. What are they? Driving around, listening to music, singing in his head. So, I have three actions occurring at the same time, and I can reduce this. How can I reduce it? The first thing I can do is delete the connectors. What is a connector? Here's the first connector, while. Next, I can delete the repeated subject. Do I have a repeated subject? Yes, he. He and the boy. They're the same subject, so I can delete he. And I have a be verb, so was can also be deleted. Okay. I have another connector, that's and. I can delete that too. And now, here's what I have left. The boy would drive around, listening to music, singing in his head. Is this sentence correct? Yes, it's perfect. Let's look at another example. Okay. Besides removing connectors, be verbs, and repeated subjects, verbs that happen at the same time can be changed into the present participle. Okay, so that means, what does that present participle mean? It means verb ing. Well, let's look at this picture. We have families. Okay, they're having a picnic. They're pointing at the sky because there's fireworks. And they are waving flags. So we have three actions occurring at the same time. So let's look at a sample sentence. The families were having a picnic as they watched fireworks and waved flags. As is a connector that signals that two actions or more are occurring at the same time. What are the actions? Once again, having a picnic, watching fireworks, waving flags. So, what can I do? First of all, I can delete the connector as. I don't need it. I can delete the repeated subject they because it's the families. Okay, then one more thing is I can change all of the verbs that occur at the same time into the present participle. So, watched fireworks becomes watching fireworks. Again, I can delete the connector and waved flags becomes waving flags. And what do I have? The families were having a picnic, watching fireworks, waving flags. Is this sentence correct? It's perfect. Let's move on. So let's look at gerunds now. So what is a gerund? Gerunds are verbs that have been changed into nouns. For example, verb plus ing is a gerund. It functions like a noun. For example, I like studying. Okay, studying is a noun and it's the object of the verb like. Let's look at some examples of how gerunds can be used. Gerunds can be the subjects of a verb or the subjects of a sentence. Traveling, the gerund is traveling. Traveling is fun. Okay. Gerunds can be the objects of a verb. I love working hard. Working is the gerund. Okay. This is work plus ing. And gerunds can be the objects of prepositions. I exercise before sleeping. What is the preposition? Before. What is the gerund? Sleep plus ing. Sleeping. So why are we talking about this? Well, remember that we're looking at ing forms that simplify sentences, and gerunds can replace that clauses and complex clauses. So for example, because gerunds function like nouns, they can replace complex noun phrases. For example, they can replace a that clause. What is the that clause? It's that plus subject plus verb. Let's look at an example. He loves that he owns a fast car. We have a that, we have he is the subject, and owns is the verb. I can replace that he owns a fast car with a gerund. Here it is. He loves owning a fast car. That's it. Okay. Then we also, once again, we can replace complex noun phrase. For example, the fact that he built a strong wall. This is a complex noun phrase, okay? So let's look at how we can simplify it. Start by reading the whole sentence. The fact that he built a strong wall made him happy. Okay, replacing it with a gerund. Building a strong wall made him happy. Okay, and we have building instead of built. We don't need that phrase or he. Okay, we deleted everything and we kept the gerund. Okay, so let's move forward now. ING forms. How do we apply it? Let's apply it. Okay, imagine that you wrote this sentence and you want to simplify it. Maybe your boss says you cannot write a long paragraph. You write a short paragraph. So what do? Let's read it first. Jake and Joanne talked together as they walked through the forest. Both were afraid of the wolves that were living in the forest. However, the fact that they walked together made them feel peaceful. They liked that they were together. Okay, let's simplify it. Jake and Joanne talked together as they walked through the forest. Well, as they walked through the forest tells me that these two actions are occurring. Talking and the walking occurs at the same time. So I can delete as. They is Jake and Joanne, so I can delete my repeated subject, and walked can be changed into the present participle, walking. So, okay, let's move forward. Both were afraid of the wolves that were living in the forest. Ooh, we have a relative clause here, that were living in the forest. So what can I delete? I can delete that. Oh yeah, once again, before I move forward, and you need to add a comma. But yes, I can delete that. I can delete the be verb, were, and what do we have? Okay, good. So let's move forward. Now, however, the fact that they walked together made them feel peaceful. The fact that they walked together. Now, you saw the answer already above. So what does that mean? I can delete this long noun phrase, the fact that they walked together, and replace it with walking together. And lastly, they liked that they were together. That they were together. What is that? That's a that noun clause. That plus the subject they plus the verb were. And I can delete all of this and replace it with being together. Then what do I have? Jake and Joanne talked together, walking through the forest. Both were afraid of the wolves living in the forest. However, walking together made them feel peaceful. They liked being together. So let's quick summary of ING forms that simplify sentences. If the verb in the relative clause is in the continuous aspect, the clause can be shortened by removing the relative pronoun and the be verb. So, I know the woman who was riding the bike. I know the woman riding the bike. If the two actions occur at the same time and are in the continuous aspect, the clauses can be reduced by removing connectors, be verbs, and the repeated subjects. The families were having a picnic while they were waving flags. Delete while, delete they, delete were, and what do I have? The families were having a picnic waving flags. Lastly, verbs that happen at the same time are changed into the present participle. So, the families had a picnic, delete as they watched fireworks and waved flags. I can delete as, I can delete they. I change watched into watching fireworks and delete and change waved into waving. And there we go. What do I have? The families had a picnic, watching fireworks, waving flags. Lastly, gerunds can replace complex noun phrases. He loves that he owns a fast car can be he loves owning a fast car. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any thoughts, questions, or concerns, please email me, and I look forward to seeing you in class. Please have a nice day.